I never thought I'd feel this kind of anger toward my own parents. Sitting in the living room, I stared at the stack of papers in front of me, shaking. You used it. My voice barely held together. Mom looked up from her tea calm. As ever, used what, dear? Slammed the papers onto the table. Don't play dumb. Grandpa's inheritance, the one you promised me? Dad sighed, rubbing his forehead. We thought it was better to help your sister. She needed it more. At the time, I laughed, bitter and sharp. Needed it? She got a wedding that looked like a royal ceremony. She didn't need, she wanted. You didn't save a dime for me, for my future, for anything. Mom tilted her head, frowning. We've always put family first. I'll understand one day. I couldn't hold it anymore. Understand? I trusted you. Worked hard. Believed. You stole my future to buy her champagne and silk dresses. My hand shook, and I felt my stomach twist. Do you even care what I feel? Dad leaned forward, his voice calm but firm. We do care, son, but your sister is starting her life? She's our priority right now. Priority, I almost shouted. Am I not your son? Did I mean nothing to you when you made that choice? Mom pursed her lips. We did what we thought was best for the family. We'll see it soon. I stared at them, disbelief mixing with rage. Best for the family? Or best for her? I trusted. You. Every promise, every word, every little thing about that inheritance meant something to me. And you took it all. Dad rubbed his eyes. We never meant to hurt you. We thought. You thought what? I cut him off. That you could decide everything for me without asking? That your version of helping would make me grateful? Mom sighed again, almost like I was overreacting. It's not that simple. Families make sacrifices. You'll understand eventually. Sacrifices. You'll call stealing my future a sacrifice? I could barely breathe. I've been planning my life around that money. College, my apartment, even the business I wanted to start. It's gone because you couldn't say no to her demands. There was silence for a moment. My chest heaved. I wanted to yell more, to throw something, to make them feel even a fraction of what I was feeling. But instead, I let the anger simmer. Then she walked in. My sister, smiling, completely unaware. Hey, what's wrong? Why do you look like you just saw a ghost? I turned to her, words sharp. Why don't you tell me how my inheritance disappeared? She tilted her head, confused. Inheritance? All that. Mom and Dad said it would go toward my wedding and, my life. Isn't that fine? Fine. I nearly laughed, though it came out as a bitter snort. Fine. You got everything you wanted. Everything. Shh. And you think it's okay too? Wipe out my future for it. She blinked, trying to smile. I didn't ask for it, I thought. I thought they were helping me because they loved me. I felt a wave of disbelief. You didn't ask for it? You didn't even care. You took it all because it was there. Do you even understand what that means for me? Her face fell. I didn't realize. Of course you didn't, I shouted, standing up. You never do. You float through life, taking whatever you want, leaving destruction behind. My voice cracked, and I suddenly hated how small I felt in the middle of all this. Do you even know what it feels like to have your future stolen by the people you trust the most? Mom stood up too, her voice soft but firm. We're trying to protect her, and you're overreacting. Life isn't fair. You'll find your way. Overreacting? I spat, anger giving way to desperation. Do you even hear yourselves? Overreacting? I grew up believing you had my back, that you'd never choose her over me. And now everything I worked for, everything I dreamed of, it's gone. Dad shook his head. Son, this isn't the end. You'll manage, you always do. I felt my stomach twist. Manage. I trusted you. I gave you my faith, my patience, my loyalty. And now, I'm supposed to just manage? You don't get it. Don't get the weight of this betrayal. There was a pause. I could feel my grandmother's eyes on me, even though she hadn't said a word. She sat quietly in the corner, knitting, observing. Her silence was worse than any words my parents could say. I remembered her voice, calm and measured, whenever family disputes rose. She always seemed to know more than she let on. I swallowed hard, trying to calm the chaos in my chest. Grandma, you've been quiet this whole time. Do you think they're right? My voice was small, hesitant. But desperate for her approval, she looked up at me, her eyes sharp and knowing. I think you need to find your own way, my boy. Sometimes family makes mistakes, and sometimes you find out who you really are when they do. Her words hit me harder than anything anyone else had said. I realized then that this wasn't just about money. It was about trust, betrayal. The people I loved most had chosen differently. I had no one to blame but myself for believing. I sank into the chair, my hands trembling. I don't know what to do now. Everything feels broken. Mom tried to step closer. You'll be okay. You're strong. I shook my head. No, not yet. Not while they took everything I had and made it hers. Not while I feel like I'm nothing to them. My sister looked away ashamed, but untouched by the gravity of what she had done. Dad rubbed his face. Mom's lips pressed together, regret in her eyes, but not enough to undo the damage. And Grandma? Grandma just watched, her expression unreadable, like she knew something I didn't. I clenched my fists. One day this will change. I don't know how or when, but I swear this isn't over. And with that, the room fell silent. I realized I was on my own now, standing at the edge of a future that my family had stolen, but something inside me refused to break completely. I hadn't spoken to anyone since that argument. Barely ate, barely slept, and every corner of my apartment felt smaller than the day before. I kept thinking about Mom, Dad, and my sister, how icily they had erased my future. My phone buzzed, and I almost ignored it, assuming it was another spam call. But the name on the screen froze me. Grandma, I whispered. Double quotes, hello, my boy, she said, calm and deliberate. I hear you've had a rough day. I laughed bitterly. Rough, Grandma? They took everything. All of it. They left me with nothing. Her voice didn't waver. I know. I saw it coming in small ways long before you did. I scoffed, coming. You mean watching them destroy my life? No, my boy. I mean watching them make mistakes and thinking you'd remain blind. But now you see it, don't you? I felt a knot tighten in my chest. I see it. And it hurts. More than I ever thought it could, Grandma chuckled softly. Pain shows you the truth. Not just about them, but about yourself, too. I swallowed hard. What? What am I supposed to do now? Can't just sit here and do nothing. That's why I'm calling, she said, a faint smile in her voice. You have options. You don't have to react in anger. You don't have to let them keep everything, but you must act carefully. Impulses can ruin more than their mistakes. I stared at my phone like it might give me the answer. Carefully. How do I take it back without? I don't know. Breaking myself in the process. Patience, observation, and a little cunning, she said. Sometimes family doesn't realize their errors until the world shows them. You don't need to fight fire with fire. You just need to light a candle in the dark. Her words struck something deep inside me. For the first time in days, I felt a spark, a candle. So you mean, make them see, but not destroy myself in the process? Exactly. And remember, my boy, wisdom wins battles, brute force cannot. Let them reveal their own flaws while you plan quietly. I nodded, feeling a weight lift slightly. Okay, I can try that. But I need advice, someone to think with. Can't do this alone. You have friends, she said knowingly. One in particular. Someone loyal. Someone who sees you clearly. Don't hesitate to reach out. I felt my heart lift again. Alex. I haven't talked to him in months. He'll understand, right? She'll understand you, she corrected softly. Go to him. Talk. Listen. Then act. And my boy, remember, anger is a fire. Let it warm you, not burn you. The call ended, leaving me silent in my tiny apartment. Her words echoed. Wisdom wins battles brute force cannot. I ran my hands through my hair, thinking, maybe there is a way. Later that day, I went to our usual coffee spot. Alex was already there, tapping his pen against a notebook. He looked up and grinned. "Hey, stranger. Haven't seen you in forever. What's wrong? You look like you swallowed a storm." I sat down, dropping my backpack onto the chair. "It's my family. Everything's falling apart. They took my inheritance, Alex. Used it for my sister's wedding. And I have nothing now." Alex's face softened. "I'm sorry, man. That's brutal. How are you holding up?" I shook my head, frustration rising. "I'm not. I feel betrayed, angry, and stupid for trusting them." He nodded, calm and steady. "I get it. But lashing out won't fix anything. Need a plan? Something smart?" "I don't even know where to start," I admitted, staring at my hands. "I'm just angry, and I feel powerless." Alex leaned back. "You know your grandma, right? She's smart. If anyone has insight, it's her." I blinked, actually. "She called me today." "Act." She said the same thing. "Be patient. Be careful. Act wisely." Alex smiled. "See? That's your starting point. You're not alone in this. You just need perspective on it. Someone to keep you grounded." I nodded slowly. "I don't want to be revenge-obsessed, Alex. I don't want to become like them. But I also can't just let them walk over me." "Exactly," he said, tapping. "The table, you find balance. Stand up, but don't destroy yourself. And remember, even small moves can shift power." We talked for hours, plotting in whispers, weighing options. "What if I confront them publicly?" I suggested. Alex shook his head. "No, that's emotional. You'll burn bridges, ruin relationships, and still get nothing. Keep it quiet, observe, find leverage. Timing is everything." "Leverage," I repeated, letting the words sink in. "Guess. If I show them their mistakes, slowly they'll crumble on their own." "That's it," he said, leaning forward. "Let them fall into their own trap. You just need to stay calm and ready." I felt a strange mix of anger and hope. "Won't be easy, Mom, Dad. And my sister, they're stubborn, self-absorbed. But maybe I can outsmart them. Not by hurting them, but by letting them face reality." Alex grinned. "Now you're thinking, that's the first step. I'll be here every step, helping you figure out what to do next." We talked strategy, small steps, little ways to protect myself and regain some control. "I need patience," I said. "I need to be careful, even when I want to scream." "You will," Alex reassured. "And the best part? You're still yourself. You're not turning into them. That matters more than revenge." I smiled faintly, the first genuine smile in days. "You're right, Grandma's right. I don't have to burn everything to get what's mine. I just need to be smart, quiet, calculated." Alex raised his coffee cup. "Two smart plans and silent victories." I clinked mine against his. To that. And to finally taking control of my life without losing myself in the process. As I walked home that evening, I felt a strange mix of exhaustion and resolve. Grandma's words, Alex's advice, my own simmering anger, they were merging into something I could act on. For the first time, I didn't feel entirely powerless. I realized revenge wasn't about shouting or breaking. It was about strategy, observing, waiting, letting time reveal truths. And maybe, just maybe, this fire inside me could guide me to something greater than anger, a plan that would restore what was mine. While keeping my integrity intact, I sat by the window, staring at the street below. Out there, living life as if nothing had changed. But I was changing, slowly, quietly, and for the first time in weeks, I felt a flicker of control, and I knew this was just the beginning. I stared at the calendar on my wall, circling dates silently. Every meeting, every conversation, every casual mention of family business could be used. I felt a strange thrill in planning, even though anger still simmered beneath my skin. Alex called me that morning. "So have you decided what your first move is?" I think so," I said, my voice tight. "But I have to be careful. I can't make it obvious, or they'll cover their tracks." "Subtlety is key," he chuckled. "Sounds like you're enjoying this too much." "Not enjoying," I snapped, then paused. It's empowering in a way. Finally feeling like I have control after weeks of being powerless. Good, he said. Just remember, don't burn bridges. You're smarter than that. Later at work, I noticed Olivia glancing at me from across the office. She approached, her eyes sharp but kind. Hey, you've been distracted lately. Something going on at home? I hesitated. Yeah, family stuff. They screwed me over. She raised an eyebrow. Screwed you over how? I swallowed, weighing what to say. They took what was mine, my inheritance. Gave it all to my sister for her wedding, her life. Olivia's lips pressed into a thin line. That's a lot. I can see why you're upset. Upset, I scoffed. I'm furious, betrayed by the people I trusted most in the world. Nodded slowly. I get it. But what are you planning to do? You don't seem like the type to just let it slide. I'm figuring that out, I admitted. Grandma and Alex gave me some ideas. I want them to feel consequences without me looking like I'm attacking them. Slowly, subtly, Olivia tilted her head. And how far are you willing to go? Sometimes subtle can become consuming. I froze, considering her words. I don't know. I just want justice, not to become them. But if I'm careful, I can expose them without losing myself. She smiled faintly. Good. Just check yourself along the way. Revenge can be sweet, but it can also destroy the one seeking it. Why? Nodded, feeling her concern. I'll be careful. I have to be. That evening, I sat at my laptop, reviewing social media posts, photos, small financial slips I'd noticed. Patterns emerged. My sister's lavish purchases, my parents bragging. About their generosity, it was obvious to anyone paying attention. I drafted subtle messages, careful not to directly accuse anyone, but hinting at their poor choices in public forums. My extended family monitored. Alex messaged me. Progress? Slow, but effective, I typed back. I'm testing the waters. Seeing how far I can push without triggering a backlash. Good. Patience wins, he replied. The next day, I noticed my parents reacting. Mom glanced nervously at her phone during dinner. Dad checked his email more than usual, looking frustrated. My sister seemed oblivious, laughing at something on her phone. But I could see the first cracks forming the confidence they had flaunted. For weeks was faltering. Later, I met Olivia again at work. You look different, she said. More focused, but also colder. Are you okay? I'm fine, I said, though part of me knew she was right. I'm just tired of being a victim. I want control. She frowned. Control is good, but don't let anger guide your actions. Can't undo their mistakes. Only show them. Make sure you don't lose yourself in the process. I know, I said, staring out the window. I keep thinking, maybe I'm already too deep, but I can't stop now. I've spent too long feeling powerless. She nodded. And just keep your morality intact. That's what separates you. From them, I realized she was right. I could be strategic without being cruel. I could let them falter without becoming vindictive. And that realization felt freeing. At home, I reviewed my plan again. Small leaks, gentle exposures, subtle hints. A picture here, a comment there. I could show the world what they valued and what they had ignored. I felt a flicker of satisfaction, imagining their embarrassment when it unfolded. Alex called later. You've started, haven't you? Yeah, I admitted. And I already see the tension. Mom and Dad are reacting without knowing why. Sister still doesn't get it. That's the beauty of subtlety, Alex said. You don't confront them, you let them reveal themselves. Just keep observing and adjusting. I smiled a little cruelly, though it felt necessary. They're already unraveling. I just have to stay calm and continue nudging them without showing my hand. Good, Alex said. Now, the tricky part, don't lose perspective. Revenge can become addictive. Stay grounded. I'll try, I said. Every time I see Mom's smug smile or Dad acting like nothing happened, I want to scream. Olivia's voice echoed in my mind. Check yourself. Don't let anger consume you. I knew she was right. I had to temper my actions with wisdom, like Grandma said. Smart moves, not impulsive ones. Slowly, quietly, I could regain control, prove my worth, and let the universe or my family reveal their flaws. The next morning, I noticed Mom hesitating before leaving for work, her phone clutched tightly. Dad muttered under his breath at breakfast. My sister, still unaware, skipped off with a new shopping bag. It was working. My subtle campaign was having effects. Small cracks, but cracks nonetheless. I felt a mix of satisfaction and unease. Is this the right way? I whispered to myself. Am I still me, or becoming something else? Alex's advice returned. Stay grounded, observe, adjust. Patience. Yes, I said aloud. This is patience, this is strategy, I'm not losing myself. By evening, I sat with my laptop open, drafting another careful post, making sure it hinted at irresponsibility without naming names. My hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the rush of taking action. I realized something important. I wasn't powerless anymore. I had a plan, allies, and the patience to wait. The anger was still there, yes, but it was fueling me constructively, not destructively. I closed my laptop and leaned back. Mom and Dad were in the living room, acting casual, unaware that their perfect facade was beginning to crack. My sister laughed in the background, oblivious, and I felt a quiet thrill. The first moves of my plan were unfolding, and I was finally in control. The path ahead was long, and I knew challenges were coming. But for the first time since everything was stolen, I felt like I wasn't just surviving, I was strategizing. And that, I realized, was the beginning of my power. I watched from across the room as Mom scrolled through her phone, her fingers trembling slightly. Dad sat beside her, muttering under his breath, clearly unsettled. My sister twirled her hair, still smiling, but I could see the tension in her eyes, the cracks forming in the facade she had worn so comfortably for so long. I leaned back in my chair and smiled faintly. Looks like reality finally caught up with you, Mom gasped. What do you mean? I gestured toward the phone. Post, the messages, your friends, the relatives. They all know. They've seen what you've done. Your generosity isn't so perfect, is it? Dad frowned, confused. What are you talking about? I shook my head, amused. Oh, come on. You've been pretending everything is fine, but I've been patient, and patience has a way of working. Sister's smile faltered. I don't understand. What post? Who? I interrupted. You don't understand because you never thought anyone was watching? You thought you could take and I would just sit there quietly? But you underestimated me. Mom's lips pressed into a thin line. This isn't fair. You're making things worse than they are. I'm not making anything worse, I said calmly. I'm just letting things unfold naturally, and things are unfolding beautifully. Dad finally spoke, his voice tight. Are you saying someone exposed us? I nodded. Exposed the truth. Slowly, subtly. Just like I said I would. No shouting, no confrontations, just reality. Your actions, your choices, they speak for themselves. Sister's eyes welled up. I didn't ask for anything. I didn't mean to. You didn't ask? I asked, my tone gentle but firm. You didn't ask, but you took anyway. You didn't consider me, my future, my life. And now you're facing the consequences. Mom's hands shook. Consequences were your family. And families make mistakes, I said softly. But you chose selfishness. And sometimes, selfishness catches up with you. Dad leaned forward, voice low. We didn't realize it would. I held up my hand. Stop. I don't need excuses. I need acknowledgement. I need you to see that what you did was wrong. Now it's visible to everyone. That's the consequence. Sister looked down, biting her lip. I didn't think about it that way. I sighed, a weight lifting from my chest. Exactly. And that's why you needed to face this. Not punishment, not revenge. Just clarity. Reality, I've learned. Something too you don't have to destroy to correct. Mom's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry. I thought sorry doesn't fix what's gone, I said. But it does show growth. And growth matters more than anger. Dad nodded slowly. We misjudged everything. We can't undo it, but we can try to make things right. I smiled faintly. You can, but not by taking more from me. You've learned your lesson in the hardest way possible. Grandma's voice came softly from the corner. See, patience, observation, and wisdom work better than anger. My boy, you've done well. You didn't destroy them, you'd let them face themselves. I turned to her, relief flooding me. I couldn't have done it without your guidance, without Alex, Olivia. Everyone helped me stay grounded. Grandma nodded, her eyes warm. Now you can move forward, free of the weight of their mistakes. I looked back at my parents and sister. I've decided. I'm taking control of my life now. Inheritance, my career, everything. It's mine to shape. Not through anger, but through action, and I will. Alex's message pinged on my phone. You did it. Proud of you. I smiled and typed back, thanks. Couldn't have done it without your advice. Olivia walked by my desk later that day. Oh, you're different, calm, focused. I can see the shift. I nodded. I've realized revenge isn't about shouting or destroying. It's about strategy, observation, letting people face themselves. She smiled. Good. That's the hardest lesson to learn. Most get lost in anger. I leaned back, thinking about how far I'd come. My parents were humbled. My sister was forced to reflect, and I felt stronger than ever. Later that evening, I confronted my sister one last time. I want to say something before this is truly over. She nodded hesitantly. Okay, I don't hate you, I said, surprising. Even myself. I don't want revenge. I just want peace and for you to understand what selfishness really costs. You've seen the consequences, haven't you? Her eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I know, I said softly. And that's why I acted carefully. To teach, not to hurt. You still have a chance to make choices differently. Don't waste it. She nodded quietly. I understand. I left the room, feeling lighter than I had in months. Grandma's voice echoed in my mind. Patience, observation, wisdom. I sat by the window, thinking about the journey. The anger, the betrayal, the subtle planning it had all led to this moment. I wasn't broken. I wasn't bitter. I was empowered. I had reclaimed control of my life, and I had done it without destroying anyone else. Alex called that night. So, how's it feel? Liberating, I said honestly. Feel calm, strong, like I finally own my life without being consumed. By revenge, that's the point, he said. You've transformed. It's worth more than money or inheritance. I smiled. I know, and I'm ready to move forward. No anger, no resentment, just growth, Livia texted later. Proud of you. You handled it like a true leader. I leaned back, feeling a sense of closure. My parents and sister would reflect. My family's mistakes were exposed, and I had reclaimed my dignity. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about justice, self-respect, and clarity. Grandma's final words that night stayed with me. You don't need to break others to reclaim yourself. Wisdom and patience are stronger than anger. Whispered to myself, I understand now, and I will live by it. The next morning I woke up early, ready to start fresh. My parents and sister would continue their lives, now humbled and aware. I had my inheritance indirectly restored, my career plans back on track, and most importantly, my peace. I walked out of my apartment feeling the crisp morning air fill my lungs. I was no longer the powerless kid who had been betrayed. I was someone stronger, wiser, and ready to face life on my terms, and for the first time in months, I smiled genuinely, knowing the storm had passed and I had emerged whole.